In this lesson, we'll work on multiplying binomials. So if you look closely, you can see that you have terms that are inside the orange parentheses. As a matter of fact, the terms in the parentheses are orange. These are binomials. So what you're going to do is use a method called the FOIL method to multiply these binomials. So as I said previously, FOIL method, which actually is an acronym for first, outer, inner, last. And the acronym is spelled out FOIL. So what does that mean? So in this case, when we're multiplying binomials, we take the first two terms of each parentheses and multiply. That's what the F stands for. So in this case, the two X's are your first terms. They are your F's. Then the O, which is the outer terms, would be the first X on the first parentheses and then the 5 on the second parentheses. These are the outer terms. So let's get a little curved line going there. So O, this is the outer terms. Then you have the inner terms, the terms that's on the inside of the two parentheses. Those terms are 3 and X. So that's what I would represent. And then you have the last terms. Those are the last terms inside of the parentheses. In this case, the first parentheses, the 3 would be the last term. And in the second parentheses, the 5 would be the last term. So the L represents the last term, and the 3 and the 5 are the last term. So that's what you would multiply. Now, let's do that. Let's actually put that to work right now. Our first terms are the two X's. So where you see the F down here, I'm just going to put down that I'm multiplying X times X. And what does that give me? I multiply two X's together. That's going to give me X to the second power, or raised to the power of 2, which we call squared. So X squared. Then we have the O's. Remember, the O's are the outer, the terms that are on the outside of the two parentheses. Not on the outside of the parentheses, but inside the parentheses. These are the ones that are near the outer parenthesis bracket. All right, so we have X and 5. So we're multiplying X times 5, which is equal to 5X. Then we have the inner terms. Those are two that are right on the inside, or close together inside of the two parentheses. We have 3 and X. I'm going to multiply 3 times X, which will give us, you got it, 3X. I'm going to scroll over just a little bit so I have some space. 3X. And then we have the last terms. These are the two terms that are at the end, or the furthest to the right on both of the parentheses, and we have 3 and we have 5 there. So we're going to multiply 3 times 5. And 3 times 5 is 15. All right, now we're going to put this together as one expression. I'm going to start off with the first term, which is X squared. So X squared is my F. My O is a positive 5X. My I is a positive 3X. My L is a positive 15. So once you get to this point, then you need to add or subtract the like terms. So there are no like terms like X squared or X to the second power. But if you look at 5X and 3X, these terms are alike. So we can add them together because they are both positive. So let's do that now. So we have X squared first, 5X plus 3X, 5 plus 3, 8X. And then there are no terms that are like 15, so we keep 15 as a positive 15. And this is our answer, okay? Final answer, x squared plus 8x plus 15. Okay, let's go to another one in practice here. So we have 2x plus 3 times 2x minus 3. So we're going to use the FOIL method again. Remember, first, outer, inner, and last. So what is our f's here? Our f is 2x and 2x. These are the first terms. What are our o's here? Our o's are the first 2x and then the negative 3 or the minus 3. What is the i's here? The inner terms are the positive 3 and the positive 2x. And what are the last terms here? What are the last terms that we have here? We have a positive 3 on the first parentheses, and then we have a negative 3 on the second parentheses. So then that's what we need to multiply, okay? So we'll need to multiply the terms that you see first and first, outer and outer, inner and inner, and last and last. So let's do that now. So we have 2x times 2x. And what is 2x times 2x? Well, we know 2 times 2 is 4, right? And then x times x is x squared. Okay, then we're going to multiply our o. What's our o's? We have 2x times a negative 3. So that's going to give us a negative 6x minus 6x. And then we have our inner terms. What is our inner terms? We got 3x and 2x there. So that's a positive 6x. And what is our last terms? Our last terms are the positive 3 and the negative 3. And we have to multiply those two together. We're going to get a negative 9. Okay, now we can combine the terms that are alike. Now, if you look closely, there are no terms that are alike. There are terms that are like 4x squared. But if you look at the minus 6x and the positive 6x, which I'm going to underline right here, these are the terms that you can combine. So if we have a negative 6x plus a 6x, you're adding the opposite. So that means it's going to be 0. That means they're going to cancel each other out. Negative 6x plus 6x is 0. So let's bring our 4x squared down. And since we cannot add or subtract anything to the minus 9, we're going to leave it as a minus 9. So here's our final answer for our second set of binomials where we had to multiply them. 4x squared minus 9. Okay, let's go to the next one here. We have 2x minus 1 multiplied times x plus 4. So quickly, as you can see, the lines are pointing to the individual spaces of the binomials or the actual terms. So if you look at the 2 and the 4, well, look at the 2 and the 2x and the x. Those are represented as the f. And the o, it would be the 2x and the positive 4. So that's your f and your o. Your I is a negative 1 and the positive x, so inside, that's the inner. And then the last is a negative 1 and the positive 4. All right, let's take some time and do this, work this one out. So 2x times x, that's our first. Now what is 2x times x? Well, 2x times 1 is 2. I'll put that there. And then x times x is x squared. The outer, we have 2x times 4. What's 2x times 4? Well, 2 times 4 is 8. That's positive. And then we just have an x, 1x, so it's 8x. Then the inner terms, we have a negative 1 times x. So that's actually a negative 1x, but how do we write negative 1x in algebra? We write it as just a negative x. And then our last terms is negative 1 and a positive 4. So we have negative 1 times positive 4. A negative times a positive is going to give us a negative, so we have negative, and that will be a negative 1 times 4, negative 4. All right, now we have to combine like terms. So we cannot combine 2x squared with anything because there's no other x squared terms. Can we combine the x terms together? X to the first power. These are x to the first powers. Yes, we can. So we have 8x minus 1x, which is equal to how many x's? If you said 7 x's, you would be correct. So this is a positive 7x. And then the minus 4, we can't combine. So our answer for this one is 2x squared. 2x squared minus or plus 7x minus 4. All right, let's do one more here. So in this one, this is actually 3x plus 2y squared. So you have to expand this one, and it's saying that these terms are going to be squared. So that means they're going to have to be multiplied to themselves. So let's expand it first. Let's expand 3x plus 2y. Let's write that all the way out. And as you practice more on these, you'll get better with this, and you'll be able to do it. You'll probably be able to do it without expansion, but let's do it now. So we have 3x plus 2y multiplied times 3x plus 2y. Because it's squared, that means we have the same terms. All right, now, if we follow our FOIL method, what are our first terms? All right, if you said 3x and 3x, you would be correct. So 3x times 3x, 3 times 3 is 9. X times x is x squared. Our outer terms, we have 3x and 2y. Let me do this here. We have 3x and 2y for our outer terms. Let's just circle those really quickly. These are our outer terms, so we have to multiply 3x times 2y, okay? So what is 3x times 2y? Well, 3 times 2 is 6. And then x times y, we have xy. Now, what are our inner terms here? The inner terms are 2y and 3x. So then we have to multiply 3x plus 2y. And what's 3 times 2? If you said 6, you'll be correct. And then x times y is going to be xy. And then we have to multiply our last terms. We have to multiply our last terms. Our last terms inside of those parentheses. So what are the last terms? We have 2y and then 2y. All right, those are the terms you have to multiply. So let's multiply those. 2 times 2. What's 2 times 2? Did you say 4? That will be correct. Y times y. Y times y is y squared. Okay. Now, let's combine the terms that are alike here. What terms are like each other? Well, 9x squared doesn't have a term that is like it because y squared is not like 9x squared. So, the two terms that are alike are the 6xy and the 6xy. Well, let's bring the 9x squared down. 9x squared. And then, see here, let's write that x. Let's write that x all on here. Let's rewrite the x. 9x squared. Now, 6x squared plus 6x squared, add them together. 6 plus 6 is 12. And this should be 6xy plus 6xy. So 12xy. And then we just bring our positive 4y squared. Of course, there's nothing that we can add or subtract to it or from it. So this is the final answer for our final binomial when we multiply them. Okay, so there will be practice problems for you to try. It will be great for you to try these at the end. I want you to come back and check the next video as we go further on in algebra.